Moving into early is one of the fastest ways to kill attraction. Now, I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, right? But stay with me. Now, I know some of you all are already thinking, but my babe and I just moved like 3 months ago and we are just fine. I mean, bro, what do you mean? Chill. Well, good news because you all might just be the exception. There are currently a lot of couples sitting on the opposite side of this same situation, wondering where the spark went overnight. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how this happens and why moving in together too early is the worst move you can ever make in your relationship. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, the first thing that happens when you move in too early is you kill attraction. Plain and simple. Most people don't even realize that curiosity is the biggest thing that keeps a relationship alive in the first place. Think about when you started dating someone. You'd leave their place and spend the drive home replaying everything they said. You'd wonder what they are doing. You'd get a text from them and actually feel something. There was a gap between you and them. And that gap created desire. That gap made you think about them when they are not around. That gap made you look forward to seeing them again. Now, what happens when you move in? That gap closes. You go from, I can't wait to see you on Friday to, can you move your shoes? I almost tripped again. You didn't lose those feelings. You just lost the space that made those feelings feel new every time. You're not discovering each other anymore. It feels like you already know everything about each other. You're just doing life next to each other, which sounds fine until you realize that doing life next to someone and being deeply attracted to someone are two different things. And that leads into the second problem. The relationship stops being intentional. When you live apart, anytime you see each other, it's a conscious decision. You choose to make time, you got ready, you wore your best outfit, you made up. I mean, you did your makeup, you drove over, you showed up with energy. Those things requires effort, and effort communicates value. When you move in together, none of that exists anymore. You don't plan time together because you are always together. You don't put in effort because why would you? I mean, they are sitting right there in the living room, and slowly, without either of you noticing, togetherness becomes the default instead of choice. You're just two people coexisting in the same apartment, scrolling on different phones and calling it quality time. And here's the part nobody talks about. When effort dies in a relationship, both parties start feeling undervalued, but they can't really explain why. She feels like he doesn't care anymore, and he feels like she doesn't appreciate him anymore. But the thing is, neither of them changed. The structure did. You got rid of the space that forced intentionality and replaced it with passive coexistence. And passive coexistence is where attraction dies quietly. Now, here's where things start getting heavier. When you move into early, you start dealing with marriage level stress way before you've built marriage level bond. Let me explain what I mean. The first few months of a relationship are supposed to be about connection, fun, learning each other, and building something emotionally. But when you move in during that window, suddenly you're also navigating who pays that bill, who cleans the bathroom, whose turn is it to cook, who should wash the dishes, who should sweep the house, who should mop. Bro, these are real stressors. Even couples who have been together for 10 years plus argue about these stuffs. Talk less of a new couple on the block. Now imagine dumping all that onto a relationship that's like 5 or 6 months old. Bro, they will definitely crash. The emotional foundation isn't strong enough to absorb all that weight. And the thing is, most couples don't see it that way. They always think if we can't handle living together, we're not meant to be. Bro, that's not how it works. You're just putting a relationship in an environment it's not matured enough to survive in. This one might be the most uncomfortable truth on this entire list. Once you move in together, you stop staying because you want to. Now, depending on who owns the place though, but most times the guys, right? You start staying because living is difficult. Think about it. When you're dating someone and you guys live apart, if you notice some red flags or things aren't working out as they should be, I mean, you can always leave. You can easily stop showing up, stop calling, stop texting. It's easier to end. Now, imagine you all are living together and things aren't working out as they're supposed to. And let's say you split the rent. Now, living isn't just an emotional decision you just make, it's a logistical problem too. And what happens when living is harder than staying? People stay because packing your things out and explaining to people why you guys broke up is way more exhausting than just tolerating another mediocre Tuesday nights together. And while you're stuck in that trap, something interesting happens in your brain without you even knowing. Have you heard of the word attachment? Let me explain. Attachment is not love. Your brain bonds with people through proximity and repetition. It's biology. If you sleep next to someone every night, eat with them every day, and see their face first thing in the morning, your nervous system gets used to their presence. That isn't romance, that is pattern recognition. And the scary part is it feels like love at first. It feels deep and real. It feels like true love. Now try separating from that person. And trust me, what you will feel isn't heartbreak, it is withdrawal. Similar to how you feel if someone took your phone for a week. You don't really miss the phone because it's enriched your life. You miss it because your brain is addicted to the pattern. A lot of couples are walking around saying, I love her so much, I could never leave. I love him so much, I could never leave. When the more honest version is, I've been with them so long that my brain doesn't know how to function without them. Do you see the difference? That ain't love, that is a habit with a heartbeat. You see what I did there? Now let's talk about conflict for a second. Every couple argues, that's normal. But when you live apart, there's a built-in cooling off mechanism. You argue, you go to your crib, you sit with your thoughts, and you calm down. Maybe you call the next day with a clearer head and you resolve it like two adults. But when you live together, that cooling off mechanism doesn't exist. You argue and you're both still sitting there in the same room, probably looking at different directions. Or worse, one of you sit on the couch pretending to watch something on your phone or maybe TV, but you keep replaying the argument in your head and getting angrier and angrier. I mean, you just need space. There's no space to decompress. You both are still seeing yourself and getting more heated. Every small disagreement gets processed in real time in the same shared space. And the most early stage couples don't have that strong communication skill to handle that. So what happens is small stuff that should have been like a 2 hours cool down and a calm conversation turned into 3 days of war because you are both too stubborn and too close to let go. And over time, these unresolved micro conflicts stack up like bricks. And one day you realize you're not even mad about the dishes. You're mad about 50 something things that never got properly resolved because there was not enough space to process any of them. Moving into early can also destroy your physical chemistry. When you live apart and anytime you see your partner, they look good, they smell good, they're up with good energy, they're put together. There's a version of them you experience that fuels attraction. Now, when you live together, you see every version. The stressed version, the sick version, the haven't showered since yesterday version, the sitting on the toilet scrolling TikTok version. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying your partner needs to be perfect all the time. Obviously, real relationship includes all of that. But the question is timing. If deep attraction for this person hasn't been fully established yet, and you are exposed to all their raw, unfiltered human stuff too soon, your brain can quietly start reclassifying this person. They go from someone you desire to someone you coexist with. You become roommates who occasionally kiss. And once that roommate's energy settles in, brother, good luck trying to reverse that. The last thing I want to talk about is what ties everything together. It is the reason most couples make this mistake in the first place. We confuse progress with depth. Society has this unspoken relationship timeline in everyone's head. First date, make it official, say I love you, move in, get engaged, get married. And every step forward feels like proof that the relationship is working. Moving in feels like leveling up. It feels like you're doing the mature thing. It feels like the relationship is going somewhere. But here's the honest truth. A relationship can move fast and still be shallow. You can hit every milestone on the schedule and still not truly know the person sleeping next to you. Speed of progression and emotional depth are not the same thing. Sometimes moving fast is not a sign of strength. It is a sign that both parties are avoiding the slow, uncomfortable work of getting to know each other. Because getting to know someone takes time, patience, and space. Three things that disappear the moment you move in together too soon. So the milestone that was supposed to prove the relationship is solid becomes the thing that prevents it from ever getting solid in the first place. So I'm not saying never move in with your partner. Okay? The point I'm driving at is moving in should come from a place of genuine readiness, not from momentum or convenience. Not because you're tired of driving back and forth, and definitely not because you think it's what you're supposed to do next. Before you move in, please, you should have already navigated real conflicts together and come out stronger. You should have had honest conversations about money, value, goals, lifestyle, all the unglamorous stuff that actually determines whether two people can build a life together. You should both already have a stable and individual life that moving in feels like an upgrade, not a rescue mission. Because trust me, the couples who last aren't the ones who move fastest. They are the ones who moved with intention. They waited not because they didn't love each other, but because they respected what they were building enough to let it grow before putting weight on it. Proximity doesn't create closeness, it only amplifies whatever is already there. If what is already there is trust, depth, and real alignment, then living together makes it better. But if what is there is just chemistry, loneliness, and fear of living alone, then moving in together won't save it. It will just expose it. Now, if you watch to this stage, man, you're the real G, man. Do you agree with my opinions or do you disagree? Drop your thoughts in the comments. You argue.